It's a tough thing figuring out what exactly you want to say on a topic when you're not the person being affected directly by the topic. So all I would like to say right now about the Black Lives Matter movement is the best ways to be an ally are to educate yourself, sign petitions, aid in funding any way you can, even if that's through you not giving money directly, and I'll have some links down below on how you can do that. And fourth, which is what I'm trying to do as best as possible, do not add to the noise, but allow the people who are in the heat of things to have the most voice in things.
Hi, my name's Amanda. Today is the end of the day, June 2nd, and the Song of Wraiths and A Song of Wraiths and Ruin came out today, and I am so completely excited about this book. It is a YA fantasy taking place based on folklore of Western African myths and folks. I've been really excited about this book for some time now. I follow the author on Twitter, and the book cover is absolutely gorgeous. This is Roseanne A. Brown's debut novel, so not a lot of people have read it, but I am extremely interested in it, mostly because it's a duology and I have a thing for duologies, meaning I read them no matter what, but also it's just the cover is gorgeous and the culture seems to be so unique, but it's also fantasy, and the description I haven't read yet because I don't read descriptions before I start reading books. So I'll have to tell you what it's about later in this video. Hey, I just wanted to come talk to you guys really quickly about A Song of Wraith and Ruins. I'm approximately 30% through the book. I have 8 hours left out of a 12-hour audiobook, so whatever that actually makes me. I didn't do the math before starting this video. I'm a little bit tired right now. Let me tell you really quickly what this book is about before I get into my thoughts so far. Like I said earlier, West African folklore, but it is following two different POVs, one of which is the princess of this land, and her father and older sister, who is supposed to be queen, have died before the story even starts. So her and her mother rule this country, and her mother do not agree with each other, do not see the same way as each other, and oftentimes the daughter feels like her mother even hates her. The daughter's name is Karina, and she doesn't want to rule. She basically loves playing music. It's something her and her father bonded with. She got along really well with her dad, and so when he died and her sister died, I think they died in a fire, it was really hard on both her and her mother, and they kind of dealt with that trauma in a very different way, and that helped, or that didn't help, but it caused them to be divided even more. And so she loves music, and she wants to use her music basically to earn enough money to escape the city that she is supposed to become the ruler of. But very early on into the story, I hope this isn't a spoiler, her mother informs her that the line that they are, cannot leave this city because of ancient magic that has controlled them and kept them in this city. So then there's also Malik, who is a boy, and has made me realize that I don't read a lot of YA fantasy following boys or men. Like, I read a lot of fantasy following them, but not a lot of YA fantasy. Anyways, Malik and his two sisters, he's the middle child, are basically refugees from this group of people, I can't remember what they're called, who are considered lesser by a lot of the people in this land, and so they are often not hired for jobs. They are often looked down upon, not allowed to live near them. If you have a name that sounds like you could be from that area, or if you look like you could be from that area, people will violently act out towards you. And so him and his sisters have basically disguised themselves because his mother and I believe grandmother have been taken to a refugee camp, and they are trying to go to this big city where there's going to be this big event happening, which is where Karina is going to be the princess of in this city, and they're going to try to get jobs so that they can send money back to their mother in order to free her. So Malik gets to the city, and as they're about to walk in, their paperwork, which is fake, is stolen from them. And so as they're trying to figure out how they're going to get into the city in order to get jobs, they come across this older woman, I believe, who is telling riddles, and if you answer one of the riddles correctly, you get a wish granted. And his little sister answers the riddle correctly with his help, of course. They get a wish granted. And then a jinn, a demon, I can't remember exactly what they refer to this being as, but this magical being appears and basically says that magic took place, that the younger sister got to use magic, and anyone who uses magic in this land is indebted to him, and he's like the king of the underworld or something like that. And so Malik barters with this king that in order to release his sister, he will do whatever the king wants. And the king asks him that he must kill Karina, the princess of the land, by a certain day, which is the end of this celebration time, for him to release his sister. Malik is trying to kill Karina so that he can save his little sister, and Karina is trying to escape this city so that she can have freedom where she is magically trapped. What's really, really cool, and something I absolutely love about this book, because let me tell you, I love this book, is that the way Malik decides to get close to Karina is part of this celebration that they're having. It happens every 50 years, and basically there are seven, how do they call them? I don't remember, but like 7 deities, 7 elements, and every person is born underneath a different one of them. And so every 50 years there's this celebration where they pick one person from each element, and they are supposed to compete into a competition to see who is like the reigning heir, who is like the element chosen by the goddess of the next 50 years. And if you haven't seen any videos by me, you won't know that I love competition. It is like my favorite thing inside of a book. If you want me to like your book, just put a competition somewhere in there and I'm gonna love it. As of where I'm at right now with the audiobook, the competition is just about to start. And so I know that there's gonna be 3 trials, but I don't know what they are as of this moment. Malik is competing in them. He got in for his person. I'm not going to say how he got in, and he's trying to get close enough to Karina. I really think I'm going to rate this book 4 or 5 stars. It is so enjoyable. The writing is really good. The author has managed to surprise me probably about 3 times so far in the first 4 hours, which I feel like I'm never surprised by books. So bravo to Roseanne, because that is awesome. I love being surprised by things. I love knowing what's going on, but I love not necessarily knowing what's going to happen next. And I love the fact that the culture is something I'm not familiar with, so I feel like I'm learning a lot right now, and it feels so refreshing to have something different with these different characters. And Malik is plagued with anxiety, and it is something that haunts him constantly, and he is dealing with it constantly. So it's really cool to see how she wrote his character in to represent that. As of right now, I can say that you should check it out. Really quickly, I changed locations. It's literally 2 minutes after I filmed that last part. The author also included a trigger warning at the beginning of the book, and it's part of the audiobook. I hope it's also part of the physical book. I would assume it is. I feel like that was awesome. I cannot remember what all of those triggers are that she said, but she had multiple ones that she wanted to say about this book. So I really like when authors do that, because I feel like when I'm reading, I don't remember all of the trigger warnings, so I can't tell you guys about them, but for it to be right there at the very beginning is perfect for people who are worried about continuing on with the book. So I just finished A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and I really liked the ending. I feel like a lot of times I get to the end of YA fantasy books and I'm like, that was predictable, or like, I didn't really care for the ending, but the first 3/4 was really good. But this book, I didn't feel that way with about how it ended. I can definitely say that I'd be interested in continuing on to the sequel. I ended up rating the book 4 out of 5 stars, and I think it deserves every single one of those stars. It was so good, so enjoyable. I loved the culture that was represented in this book. I loved the issues that Roseanne dealt with and talked about. Really good, really impactful, and really important for everything that's going on in the world right now. I think if you are looking for a book with Black characters, but you're hesitant to maybe pick up some non-fiction, say you really love fantasy, you want to support Black authors, check out this book. It was very enjoyable, and she is a debut author, so the more people who read her book, the better. I really loved how soft she made her male character, Malik. That's how you say his name. I don't know if I've been saying it wrong in this video or not, but that is actually how you're supposed to say it. Is constantly dealing with his anxiety, and I really like how she allowed his anxiety to be what helped him win his plotline in the end. I also really like what she did with the end of his story. I didn't like him as much as Karina throughout the book, but the way she ended his plot, I was like, okay, this is really, really good. I really like this. Karina is also so strong and so powerful, and I like the surprises and the things we learn about her along the way. There's kind of something big revealed near the end about her. I actually really like that it wasn't hinted at as much as I would have normally liked, that it was something that kind of just came up right at the end, because I think it opened up book 2 to have more development in it, which is what I often find sequels to be lacking, is more development in the characters. I love that this is going to be a duology, and I really liked the author's writing. I didn't find anything super negative about it or anything that stood out as bad to me. She had some really good quotes throughout the book that I was like, oh, if I was physically reading this, I would tab those. Let me know if you've read this book or are planning on reading this book. I'd love to talk to anyone about this. It was really enjoyable. I don't remember how my outro goes, so until next time, I will talk to you all in the comments. Bye!